Welcome to yet another FPL video, the first of 2021, so hopefully it all goes smoothly. And I have to say, quickly before we begin, thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel and everyone who's tuning in right now. I wish you all a happy new year. Hopefully 2021 is much better than 2020, and hopefully you enjoyed the whole festive period, Christmas included. And I have to say, FPL, the last 2 game weeks or so have been a bit of a disaster for me, especially game week 16, and I'm so happy to see the back of it. But with game week 17, a few dilemmas and some stuff that I'm probably going to be stressing about throughout the whole live stream, but I'll still obviously try to help all of you with your problems and also with kind of, some suggestions that you may want to have. And hopefully you will enjoy this video. And if you do, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new, because we are 7 away from reaching 2,000. I mean, incredible. And we started making videos again in 2020, but in January. So it's been a year now, and hopefully you all join me on this journey, but really appreciate the support, definitely. And without further ado, this is my team, and as you can see, kind of one of the golden rules of FPL, if you have so many players facing each other, you're kind of not expecting too much from the week. And although I've got most of the main captaincy options for this week, like Kane, Son, Bruno, and Salah, it's still not, ideal. I don't even know who to captain if I'm being honest. And in my preview, I did have it on Bruno, and to be honest, he's probably the safe pick. But at the moment, I've got on Son, and I don't know. I've had 4 captaincy blanks in the last 4. Kane was my captain for game week 16, but of course that game got postponed. And Salah was my vice, and he missed so many crucial chances. And that was awful to watch. But I'll go through all of your comments in the live chat, and I have to say, really appreciate everyone who does chime in, and feel free to comment anything you want, as long as it's respectful, and we appreciate it. Welcome Savage Mode, and how did everyone celebrate New Year's last night? To be honest, me personally, just with the family, but same as always, to be honest, COVID didn't really impact that, at least, but it was all chill, I think. Welcome Mickey, happy New Year to you too, thank you for joining in. Start 2 of these 4 players, Mitchell, Dallas, Watkins and Souček. That's a tough one, because to be honest, if I look across the board, not great for all of them. I'd probably start Mitchell for sure. I do think he will start, but of course I couldn't guarantee you that. After that, probably Dallas and Watkins, but I'm not too sure. Souček is so hard to predict when he's going to haul, but I'd probably say basically Mitchell and maybe Watkins, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. I don't like Watkins at all. Welcome Kinslayer for joining in once again. And nothing like a good stream on New Year's. Hopefully it's a good stream. I'll try, and of course if there's any way I can improve, then let me know. Thank you Dylan for joining in once again. Bowen and Kilman to Souček and Cancelo. Well, I mean, in normal circumstances I would say do them, but there are strong rumours that Cancelo is one of those players who had COVID, but I think he tested negative, and even if he is positive, he's not really showing any symptoms. And all these COVID tests, they can be very flimsy at times. And one day it could obviously say that you are, and even on the same day, a few hours later, it could say that you don't have it. So, if you are confident that Cancelo, is fine, then I think those moves would benefit your team. Kilman, he might get you some clean sheets every 6-7 games, but he's not even going to play every single game. So I would probably do those moves if you back Cancelo to be fit. My favourite gut, Dylan, happy new year. Oh, favourite guy, favourite gut. Thank you, Philip, and thank you for joining once again. I have to say that, and if you have any questions or anything, then leave them. Feel free to do that. Why Son captain over Kane? That's a good question, and if I'm honest, so in the preview I had Bruno captain, then I had it on Kane, but then I kind of analysed, well, I wouldn't say analysed, I just looked at the points totals this year and how they came against. So if we look at Son, for example, let's look at some of his hauls, against all these really offensive teams when Spurs have been able to counter-attack them. So we look at Southampton, who played a high line, very similar to what Leeds are going to do, well, you'd think anyway, and he got 24 points. But then again, Kane got 4 assists in that game, so of course he's also a viable option. Man United, same thing. Man United were actually attacking, which is a bit, strange of them. But then again, they did have 10 men, so that kind of skewed things. But Son, man of the match in that game, along with Kane. And you look at the other teams that were really offensive. City, Kane got an assist, but he also got a yellow card, so he ended up on 4 points. Meanwhile, Son got the bonus and he got the goal. And once again, another offensive team with a high line, just like Leeds are going to do, you would think. And he does the business. And then after that, Chelsea were very conservative, so you can't really put that in there. Arsenal, I know they've been very poor offensively, but Arsenal were dominating the ball and they were playing a high line. And what did Spurs do? 2 counter-attacks, and Son, and Kane, they both did very well. I think Kane got the 3 bonus points and Son got the 2, but yeah, Son got 13 and Kane got 12. But then, then you look at Liverpool, Kane had some good chances, and to be fair, on another day he could have got a double-digit haul, and then again you could be looking at this differently. But Son, once again on the counter-attack, got the goal. And pretty much the recurring theme here is that whenever Spurs play a counter, or should I say a really possession-based side with a high line who are trying to press as far as possible, then, Son is the one who's getting the points all the time, pretty much double-digit hauls every single game. But of course, that's not really, a reason to go Son over Kane. Kane does have penalties, and he's been more consistent. He's blanked fewer times than Son. But I'm not too sure, I think they're both great options on paper, but if you look at the underlying statistics, that's what kind of puts me off Spurs and why I may deviate from them to the likes of Bruno or Salah, because Spurs have just not been producing recently. And although Mourinho did say in his latest press conference that Spurs will be scoring a lot of goals again, we'll have to wait and see on the pitch, and Leeds are just really poor defensively. That's obviously the main attraction, they're one of the worst defences in the league. But Spurs, offensively, they have dropped. They used to be second in terms of expected goals. They have gone down, and I'll be going over that very shortly. But yeah, I'm not settled on Son captaincy. Definitely not. It could be Kane, it could be Bruno, it could be Salah. I don't think I'd go anywhere else. But then again, I'm kind of stuck between all of them at the moment. But that's something I'm looking to resolve in this stream. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. I'll try to get through your questions. I'm bringing in Diaz and Dallas for Reece James and Douglas. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I mean, Douglas is pretty, he's just bench fodder, an enabler, and Reece James is injured again. So yeah, Diaz and Dallas, I do like those moves, and Diaz should be fine, I think. So yeah, I like those moves for sure. Martinez, Zuma, Soufal, Diaz, Dallas, Robertson, Grealish, Bruno, Son, Salah, Souček, Adams, DCL, Bamford. Transfers to improve for Game Week 17, Saka for Souček, Zuma to Justin. I'm not too sure what your kind of plans are for Game Week 18, if you're going to free hit or if you're going to bench boost in 19. But if you are looking to bench boost in 19, I definitely wouldn't go, I wouldn't get Saka in for Souček. If it's the other way around, then fair enough, I would say yeah. But Zuma to Justin, not too sure about that. I think Chelsea are still better defensively, so not too sure. Of course, Justin has been doing well, and I've been kind of, I wouldn't say overlooking him because I did have him, but I've always been anticipating the return of Castagna and Pereira, and guess what? They just never seem to be fair at the same time, so Justin keeps on playing, but I don't really like Leicester defensively, and the expected goals conceded and all the underlying defensive statistics would back Zuma over Justin, so yeah, I think your team is good overall. There's no real weakness there, and yeah, I wouldn't get Saka in for Souček, I think, especially if you're looking to bench boost in 19. Captain Vardy, Bruno or Salah? I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm not even too sure. I think they're all great options. If I had to pick one, probably in terms of form, it definitely has to be Bruno. But Salah, I mean, he is someone to consider still. I know he's blanked twice in a row. He's let us all down, and he hasn't really looked on it. He kind of just snatched at his chances, but he has only blanked once away to Southampton. But then again, he only blanked once away from home all season, and he blanked against Newcastle. So, you can't look too much at that. Vardy's still a great differential pick, though. I'll give you that. And I'm not saying don't captain him. He could be someone that, could give you the advantage. But I think Bruno's the safest pick for sure. Should I get rid of Danny Welbeck, I'm guessing? Yes or no? My team, Mendy, Justin, Robertson, Zuma, Lookman, Souček, Salah, Fernandes. Yeah, I would probably get rid of Danny Welbeck for who? I mean, that's the $1 million question. I don't know how much money you have, but I would probably get in Che Adams. Great for the double game week. Ings is back, and Che Adams' statistics and Southampton's offensive statistics are all better when Ings is playing. They score more goals, they create more chances, and Ings gives them a bit more dynamism up front. So I think Che Adams would be your best bet if you can afford him for Danny Welbeck. And thank you for the wishes. Happy New Year to you too. Thank you, Francis, for joining in once again. Is it okay to go with 7 players in blank game week? Martial, Rashford, Neto, Son, Dyer, Diaz, KDB. Yeah. And you've got some of the best captaincy options. You could captain Rashford, KDB. The thing I think you're really missing is Bruno Fernandes, I think. And maybe someone like Kane. But yeah, I think you're good to go. But Bruno, having no Bruno, and if especially he's going to be heavily captained for Game Week 18, that could be a big miss for you. But yeah, still pretty good. You don't need to use the free hit in that game week. McCarthy or Meslier for bench boost, double game week keeper. I put a poll out yesterday, I believe, comparing the two. And the vast majority of you went with Meslier. And to be honest, if you're thinking about double game week 19, if you look at the fixtures, far superior for Leeds. Of course, if you do have one Leeds defender already, like Alioski or Dallas, and you don't really have a Southampton defender, then you could go for McCarthy. But otherwise, if you kind of have the same number of defenders from both sides, I would probably go for Meslier. Although Southampton are better defensively, the fixtures are much tougher. They're facing Leicester and Leeds away. And I don't really back a clean sheet in either of them, to be honest. But still, pretty good. Both good options. Long term, I would say McCarthy. But for double game week 19 exclusively, definitely Meslier in my opinion. Dallas is going to get injured, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I did get him in. You know, we've discussed my defender transfer curse. And yeah, he's actually on my bench right now. So if Cancelo does play, Dallas is just there. And I know I took a hit. But you know what? I was just keen to get this over with. And I don't suggest any of you to do that, by the way. It's just something I've done. And I haven't taken too many hits this season. So I'll allow myself that. But yeah, Dallas is a great option. Hopefully he doesn't get injured. But to be honest, against Spurs, you don't really expect too much there. Unless he gets some, goals or assists. Son will find more space going forward against the high-line Leeds team. That's kind of the logic I'm, thinking of when captaining Son. But just not sure. Like I said, the Spurs' offensive statistics are so poor. And, just forget, maths for a second. Just if you look at how Spurs play and how many goals they're scoring, it's just not enough. And for captaincy, when you have Bruno who's in such great form, even if, they score 1 or 2 against Villa, Bruno can be behind both of them and get bonus points and stuff like that. So that's why Bruno's probably the safest pick this week, along with Salah. But in terms of the upside, there could be Son and Kane, But whatever you do, it's a risk, because if you captain someone who does poorly and the other, popular captaincy choices do really well, you're kind of in the mud. So really risky, but you would expect all of them, to do something. But, I don't know. I just have a feeling one of them will blank. And it's going to be the one I captain. But, hopefully they don't blank. Who should I bench out of Grealish, Rafinha, Neto and Adams? Let's look at the fixtures here. So Wolves play Brighton away. I'd probably play Neto for that. Rafinha. Ooh, to be honest, I know he's been very good. I'd probably bench him though. And Adams against Liverpool. Ooh, okay, so I'm guessing, it'd be between Rafinha and Adams, in my opinion, to bench. And I think Spurs are much better defensively than Liverpool. Oh, sorry, no. Actually, I would say it's quite similar. I was thinking about United more so, and Grealish does face him. But yeah, I'd definitely start Grealish. I know he's been very disappointing, but start Grealish. Start Neto. Between Rafinha and Adams, if it was me personally, I'd probably still go for Adams, but that's a really tough one, We'll have to wait and see. Can you show your FPL Cup opponent's team? I'm not in it, mate. I mean, that's how bad Game Week 16 is. And you know what? I'm not even too bothered. I always take hits, whenever I face an FPL Cup opponent, but I don't have one this year. That's how bad Game Week 16 is, and I don't want to mention that one again. Mahrez out, Rafinha in. I mean, Man City now with the blank game week in 18 and the double game week in 19, their options are very good. And you would back Mahrez to do something in those. But I think the money that Rafinha would give you and the other moves you could make, I would probably do that. Yeah, maybe not this week, but for next week, yeah, I think that would be a great move. But either way, both have tough fixtures coming up. But yeah, I'd probably get Rafinha in. But it depends on the other moves you would make. Should I bring in Kane and Son for Mane and Martial for a hit just for this game week? I mean, I see the logic behind that, but I probably wouldn't, because if it's just for this game week, I mean, to be fair, if you're not freeing in 18, you'd also have them for that. But yeah, that's really risky, of course. You would be hoping for both of them to get double-digit hauls for that to pay off. And it can. I'm not saying it definitely can't pay off for you, but it's really risky. And if you're just going to take another hit to get Mane and Martial back in for 19, then I'd say no. Robertson or Trent in for Cancelo or Chilwell. Have Mendy as well, and have to take out Che out for Brewster. To be honest, I don't like the fact they were taking out Che Adams for Brewster. Obviously, if you're trying to upgrade your defence, I understand that. But I would keep Cancelo and Chilwell, to be honest. I know Robertson and Trent, they've got 2 home games in Game Week 19, and Robertson has been offering such great value, and he's definitely the better pick, by the way, out of him and Trent Alexander-Arnold. But Cancelo has a double game week, and even if he does miss Game Week 17, he should be back by Game Week 18. And Chilwell is still a great option, probably one of the best in the entire game in his position. So me personally, I think you should keep Che Adams and keep Cancelo and Chilwell. But if you really want to get rid of one of them, I mean, I can't even tell you to get rid of Cancelo. I know he may miss this weekend, but I'll probably just keep things as they are. Welcome, Kurt. Thank you for joining in. Happy New Year to you as well. KDB might actually be benched in one of the double game weeks, so I advised against captaining him. Fair enough. You know, a lot of people are actually thinking of triple captaining him, and it's a plausible strategy. I mean, me personally, I know a lot of people are going to be asking me, are you going to bring in KDB for the double game week now? I still don't think so, because I would probably have to downgrade Grealish to El Ghazi or something like that, which I wouldn't mind, to be fair. But that would also mean getting rid of Son, and the other option would be getting rid of both Spurs attackers in a game where they face Sheffield United away. I don't know, I'm not too sure about that. I still think Son offers better value, although things can change. And maybe you're right, like you said, he could be rested. I mean, there are quite good fixtures. Villa is the more difficult one, so you would expect KDB to play in that one. So maybe he could be benched in the earlier one, but I'm not too sure about that. But you may have a point there. Grealish and Brewster to Martial and Rafinha. To be honest, you're upgrading your team overall and your squad, and if you're bench boosting, that is good. So yeah, I think those are good moves, to be honest. Martial, though, obviously be careful with him. I'm guessing you're a United fan. Martial is very inconsistent, and yeah, he's got a lot of blanks this season. I've looked at his points totals, and I know he's had injuries and stuff like that, but yeah, he is very inconsistent, so be careful. But he's also quite an explosive player. Rashford and Bruno, like I always say, especially Bruno, you know, are the standout picks from United. But Martial is a great differential and could give you that upside. But yeah, good moves, I think, and I'd probably make them. Although Grealish, still a bit apprehensive. He's got that double game week, but Brewster, I wouldn't say he's useless. Oh yeah, he is useless. Gonna take out Grealish and Douglas for Saka and Cancelo. Then I'll have 10 players playing on the blank game week. Fair enough. So then in that case, you wouldn't need to use the free hit, but I'm not too sure what your plans are for game week 19. I don't know if you're going to wildcard or whatever, but of course, you can't perfectly navigate every single week. That's obviously something I've kept on saying, and it's kind of common sense anyway. I get those moves, and for game week 18 specifically, I think those are, you know, very good moves. And Cancelo for double game week 19, also, you know, very good option. And going forward, Saka, great fifth option maybe, but there's also Souček. Maybe you could get Souček in game week 19 after getting Saka in, but I'm not too sure how your plans are for game week 19. Play Soufal or Dallas? I'd probably play Soufal, probably. Thanks. Just wondering what your chip strategy and planned transfers are before game week 18-19. Okay, so this has kind of changed week on week, and like I say, I try to keep my options open. So at the moment, what I'm thinking of doing is not making another transfer for game week 17. I already got Dallas in, and that's in preparation for game week 19. And if we're looking at game week 18 now, I've actually got 8 players. Technically 7, but I've also got Basuma. You know, so it is 8, but you would expect a blank there. So I've got Basuma, Kane, Son, Fernandes, Grealish, Calvert-Lewin, Cancelo if he is fit, which he should be, and Martinez. They are all going to be playing for me in blank game week 18. So I think at the moment I'm going to save my free hit, and I don't know when I'm going to use it, by the way. It could be in a double game week, like 26, to kind of, you know, be really aggressive and use it. Maybe a smaller double game week or something like that, or a blank game week like 29. So that's when I'll probably use my free hit, and I'll probably save it. But of course, things can change, and I'll let you guys know in the community tab and on my Twitter page. But in terms of game week 19, at the moment, I think I will bench boost. And the news that the City game obviously got rescheduled to 19, and they now have a double game week. That's kind of changed my thinking, because I was thinking maybe triple captain in 19 or use no chip and save the bench boost for 26 and wildcard in 25. They do work really well together. Because of these changes, and because I could have up to 12 double game week players, I may actually just bench boost in 19. But if not, it will be triple captain, or, you know, literally just saving both of those chips. But yeah, at the moment, saving my free hit and probably bench boosting in 19. But it's not set in stone, by the way. I can change my mind, and if injuries happen and stuff like that, then definitely things are subject to change. But yeah, that's what my thoughts are at the moment. Thank you for that question. Play Soufal or Dyer? It's a really good question. If you look at Leeds, they are second in terms of expected goals. But then again, when you look at Spurs, they are up there in terms of the best defences. And as for Soufal, you know, defensively, West Ham are actually in the bottom 5-6, which is quite surprising. But Then again, they've kind of shifted away from that back five, and they've been more offensive, so maybe not too surprising, but I would probably play Dyer, but that's a really tough one. Nailed Arsenal defender, under 5 million. To be honest, I mean, it's the same thing I'm going to say after the United game when we won and everyone was talking about Bellerin. You could get Holding, but, you know, I would kind of wait and see. Of course, they've got a great fixture this week against West Brom, and West Brom are really poor. They're pretty much bottom for expected goals. But I'm not too sure, to be honest. But yeah, if you want an Arsenal defender under 5 million, Holding, and maybe Pablo Mari, but he is probably at risk of rotation when Gabriel comes back in 1 or 2 game weeks' time. And also David Luiz, he's back in training. So it's kind of tough one, but Holding has been a bit nailed, I guess. So you could go for him. But you know what? Maybe there are better options around this price, like Alioski, for example. Taylor when he's fit. Lowton. But, you know, good luck with that. Then Elneny for Souček. Going to take out Grealish and Douglas for Saka. Oh, yeah. And then Elneny for Souček. Yeah, if you're getting rid of Elneny to get Souček in, then yeah, definitely do that. But if it was the other way around, definitely no. Thoughts on Son to Rashford? I would try to wait this game week. But for game week 18 even, you could do that. But yeah, I would not do it this week. I think Son is a great choice facing Leeds and their high line. Should I bring in Stones for Taylor? That's a tough one. There's so many people you could go for around that price. Alioski if you don't have Leeds to cover. Maybe Dallas or whatever. But yeah, I don't know what your defense is, but Stones is a very good option. But be careful, and I've been saying this to everyone who's been mentioning Stones. He is a bit of a rotation risk, and he is the first choice centre-back partnership, you know, along with Diaz. But he is injury prone, and what Pep is doing is kind of rotating him every 3-4 games or so and trying to save him, because Stones has been in great form and they really need him for those important games. So be prepared for rotation. If you have a good defensive line and good squad depth, then I think Stones is a good option. But otherwise, if you only have like 3 good defensive options, including Stones, then I would probably reconsider and try to go for someone more nailed. But yeah, he is a good option. Happy New Year to you too, mate, 2021. Thank you, Dr. Swan, and hope you have a great year. And thank you. I remember you tuning in my UCL Fantasy videos, my really early ones, so really appreciate the support, and I hope you have a great year. Your thoughts on Saiss and Stones for Matip and Taylor for a -4 this week? I am planning to save my free hit for Game Week 29. Fair enough. I've been seeing people mention Saiss, and to be honest, he could have been on bonus points, and he was very unlucky for the shot to deflect off him towards the end against Manchester United. Saiss, you know, before he got dropped, he was the top scoring FPL defender, so I see the logic behind him, but I just haven't been convinced with Wolves this season. Even though they were very unlucky against United, overall, there could be better value elsewhere in terms of defenders. And if you don't have Dallas, for example, although Leeds are poor defensively, the attacking output that he gives you, maybe you could go for someone like him instead. But those are good moves, by the way. If you can, maybe kind of hold off. But of course, Matip and Taylor aren't going to play. But if you can avoid it, try to make those moves. Maybe in game week 18, 19, and you don't have to take the hits. But yeah, good plan and good moves. Downgrade Kane and have 3-5-2 with DCL and Bamford, sorry. Yeah, make money for Robertson and extra midfielder Zaha Grealish. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, to be honest, Kane has been very poor recently, but if he hauls against Leeds today, or shall I say tomorrow, things will change. Perception's always, you're only as good as your last game, basically. But you know what? Yeah, I see what you're trying to do, and if you're trying to bench boost in Game Week 19, I would say go for it. But maybe you could go for Vardy instead of Kane if you don't have him already or something like that, and kind of maintain your current structure. But there's different ways you can go about it. DCL and Bamford, still very good options, probably the best value in attack. And Kane just hasn't been on it recently. So yeah, I'll probably do that. But maybe if you can save it for Game Week 18 or 19, because like I said, Leeds is a great fixture for Spurs. Do I play Johnston or McCarthy? Oh my God, that's a tough one. I don't expect either of them to get a clean sheet. So really, it's who's going to get the more saves, maybe bonus points. Johnston's more likely to get bonus points because, let's face it, West Brom don't really have anyone apart from Pereira. So yeah, Arsenal's the easier fixture than Liverpool for sure. That's a tough one. I'd probably go for Johnston, but yeah, I don't expect any of them to do well. You're about to captain Son? I have to change my captain now. Yeah, I mean, that's how bad it is. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to captain Son. I mean, I might change it anyway, but yeah, just take that into consideration. Teams like Spurs turn it around. I'm going to captain Son. Yeah, I mean, they could. I mean, it's only been a few game weeks. If you look at the whole season, they've been very good, but their attacking numbers and everything have just gone downhill so much. And I don't know, Son and Kane just haven't looked on it, especially Kane. So it's something to consider. But Leeds, the way they play, I just think it's going to suit Spurs perfectly. They also obviously had the rest because the Fulham game got cancelled. All of those things obviously point towards a Spurs captaincy. And then again, Bruno could be rested. He played 90 minutes back to back. Maybe Donny van de Beek could play instead. But then again, it's a crucial game against Villa. If United win, they are literally right on Liverpool's tail on the same amount of points. Same number of games played, although obviously Liverpool play a few days later. But yeah, it's a really tough one, to be honest. Don't worry, Bruno will blank game week, and Rashford and Martial will haul. I don't think so, but we'll have to wait and see. Am I right to bench Bamford and Stones in favour of Mount and Cresswell? Oh, that's a tough one. You know what? I think Stones can get a clean sheet against Chelsea. I can see a 0-0, maybe a 1-0 to City. And if not, a tight game, maybe a 1-1, a 2-1. So I actually would play Stones, but it is up to you. And then again, Cresswell probably has the better fixture. On paper anyway, I would actually probably start Stones, but it's up to you. And Bamford, he can still score, even if, Leeds lose like 5-1. You can back Bamford to score. Harrison or Rafinha? I'd probably say Rafinha, but it's a tight one, and Harrison has got more points this season. But Rafinha has just been doing really well. I think Harrison, is a bit more of a differential. I don't see too many people with him, so you could go for him, but yeah, both good options. I'd probably still go for Rafinha, but yeah, not much to separate them. Should I bring in Stones for Taylor? Yeah, like I said, you can bring him in, but only if you have good squad depth. Otherwise, don't do it. Martial and Rafinha in for Grealish and Brewster. Yeah? Yeah, I think you said this before, Christopher. Yeah, I think those are good moves, but like I said, I would be a bit uncomfortable with getting rid of Grealish. Alba captain, that's really bold. Grealish, Salah, Bruno captaincy this game week. For next week, I plan to bring De Bruyne for Salah, and for Game Week 19, switch to Salah for Alba. Fair enough. I mean, I'm not sure if you already have Alba. I'm guessing you do. That is risky, though, and I don't really back Aubameyang to do that well. Maybe against West Brom, but I don't know. He just hasn't looked on it this season, and yeah, if he gets a chance, you would back him to score, but then again, against Brighton, he could have scored 2 or 3, and he didn't, but good luck with that. What do you think about captaining Sterling on the double game week over KDB? I don't have the funds to reach KDB. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, Sterling's actually kind of gone under the radar in the last 5-6 game weeks. He's outscored KDB quite comfortably, so I can see your logic there. I still probably think KDB is the better asset, but then again, with him, you're relying mainly on assists, although Sterling has been doing that recently. I'm not too sure. Either way, if you don't have Bruno, Salah, I would say get them instead. But I think Sterling, yeah, could be better than KDB, to be honest. And you know what? You could have the advantage. Everyone could triple captain De Bruyne and flop, and you could have Sterling and do really well. So, yeah, if you can't afford KDB, it is what it is. You don't want to take a hit or too many hits to, get him in, because Sterling may outperform him anyway. So, yeah, you know what? I think that's a good move. Zuma price drop today could transfer out. Yeah, I wouldn't think too much about that. Yeah, I know price drops. I mean, Grealish is apparently going to drop again today, but it is what it is. I think Grealish, a lot of people might regret it and then bring him back in, in a hurry. So, yeah, Zuma's still a good option, but of course, ideally, I would have Chilwell, for that attacking threat. But yeah, he is going to go down, unfortunately. Start Soufal, Souček, or Dallas? Probably Soufal. I'm just trying to keep it short, but I think Soufal, in terms of the fixture, probably the most likely to get a clean sheet. But then again, I don't expect any of them to do well, but you never know. In the double game week, should I have Son, Dyer, Souček, or Balbuena, Souček, Bruno? Remember, Tottenham are facing Sheffield, and I don't need Bruno if I have Martial and Rashford. Yeah, but then again, Martial could blank, or maybe even Rashford, and Bruno's the one who's getting the points. That's a tough one. I'd probably go for the second one because of Bruno. I think Bruno's a better option than Son. I think Dyer is better than Balbuena, but because of the fixtures Balbuena has for the double game week, I do prefer him for that. And of course, Souček's the same in both cases. So yeah, I'd go for the second pair of, or the second trio, should I say. Souček or Rafinha for this game week? I expect both of them to blank if I'm being blunt. I think Souček is the better option long term to have as your fifth midfielder because Rafinha, you might be uncomfortable with benching him at times, more so than Souček. But you know what? As the overall asset, forgetting everything, Rafinha is probably the better pick, but there's not much to separate them. And in terms of this week, I expect both of them to blank, but maybe Rafinha is a bit more likely to do something. Bro, we have a similar overall rank. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I was 60k last week, but after the disaster that was Game Week 16, I've gone down. But yeah, hopefully we both go up in the ranks. But yeah, I mean, Game Week 16 was absolute disaster. Is Maguire worth it? No, not even for the next two game weeks, in my opinion. I get your logic, but against Villa, I don't really expect a clean sheet. United are that sort of team that they could score 2 or 3 against a good side like Villa, but they could also, kind of be a bit more conservative and draw 0-0, or maybe snatch a 1-0 or concede late on or something like that. But I just don't trust Man United defensively. I think there are far better options. You look at Manchester City, you look at Chelsea, even Leeds with Alioski and Dallas, and I think there are better options. But I get your point, and even against Burnley, there could be something there. Maguire's a bit of a threat from set pieces, but I'll probably avoid. Wilson to Watkins, Adams or Rodrigo? Probably Adams, but you know what? Rodrigo is actually a good differential for the double game week. Since Bruno's debut, United have only lost 3 of the 29 games he's played, and he has the highest goal contributions in their first 29 games than any other player in Premier League history. Wow, I didn't know about Premier League history. Great point, Savage Mode. Thank you for that. And to be honest, yeah, I always say this, and I was actually surprised when I first saw it, and this was maybe back in Game Week 8, and this is what made me get Bruno in. Most points since he's come in, the most goals from any midfielder, including from open play, the most assists of any player, and at that point, he hadn't blanked away from home. Obviously, now against Sheffield, he blanked, and of course, I captained him for that. But yeah, Bruno's just outstanding. And also, another thing that you haven't mentioned, but of course, there's so many statistics with Bruno. United have actually got the most points since he has joined, even more than Liverpool. So, you know what? I don't know if United are going to win the league or whatever, but they have a much better chance than they have probably since Ferguson left. Fernandes is such a quality player. Kind of reminds me of, Suarez when Liverpool were challenging and they almost won the league. So, yeah, if United have more Bruno Fernandeses, then, yeah, I would back them to win the league. But, yeah, it's a bit of a carry there. But Bruno, great option. And, stuff like that just makes me think maybe I should just keep it simple and captain him. And like I said in my preview, I did have him captain. But then the reason why I'm a bit put off is the Villa fixture. Villa are one of the best defences in the entire league. And even if United score maybe 1 or 2. But with football at the moment and the Premier League, you never know. Anything can happen. Son also had a rest. Bruno could be rested, although I don't think he will. But there's a lot of things to take into account. And to be honest, even against Wolves, he was very lucky to get that assist. But an assist is an assist, Keep Robertson or invest money elsewhere? I mean, if you're asking me personally, I would say invest elsewhere. I think he's far too much money and there are better value options. But Robertson is still one of the best defenders you can have. And by the end of the season, you would back him to be the top scorer. And if not, second or third. But yeah, Robertson's still a great option. I'm not going to say definitely sell him, but maybe invest it elsewhere. James Maddison will play this game week. I think so, because they rested a lot of players. I think Maddison was actually left out of the entire squad, so that's a good question you raised. But I do think he will play if he's fit. And, Leicester, they tried it against Palace. They rotated a lot and they struggled. They were really lucky to get that point in the end. So, yeah, I think they're going to play their strongest team. And if Maddison is fit, that includes him. Which two would you start out of Dallas? Coufal, Cancelo and Souček, and Martinez or Fabianski? Oh my God, those are tough questions. Probably Martinez, Coufal, Cancelo. Yeah, that's what I'd probably do. So you don't have Fabianski, so if they get the clean sheet, you have that with Coufal, and he also has that attacking threat, obviously, which Fabianski doesn't have. But yeah, I'd probably start Cancelo. In terms of who's your first bench, I'd probably have Dallas and Souček your second sub, and yeah, I'd bench Fabianski. Saving my free hit chip going in game week 18 with just 7 players. Yeah, but that's fine, and even if you're free hit, how many more, top quality players can you bring in? So I think the important thing with, the Game Week 18 fixture is getting the captaincy right. If you get the captaincy right and, the rest of your team do okay, you're going to have a good week and you're going to have a green arrow. So yeah, I get your logic and it's very similar to me. Cancelo has COVID, so he would not play. Well, that's the thing. Apparently he tested negative, but then other people are saying he tested positive. We just don't know yet. And if he doesn't play, he'll just get subbed off. So that's why I just have him starting, because if he does start, I back City to get the clean sheet, more so than Dallas against Tottenham or Walker-Peters against Liverpool. But yeah, in cases like that, I would just play them, just in case. Martial's lot of blanks. Doesn't it mean that one time will come the haul? I'm not too sure, to be honest, because, like I said, Martial overall is an inconsistent player. But when he hauls, he'll obviously be a great differential for you. Not many people will own him. And of course, that will boost you up the ranks. But Martial, very risky player. And I do get the appeal of him. But Cavani actually should be back very soon, obviously, because some of the games that he's missing are the Carabao Cup games and the FA Cup, I believe. So, yeah, something to keep an eye on. Hi, mate. Give some tips for FPL Cup. I mean, the main thing, probably try to avoid hits, because whenever I've taken hits, that's when I've lost the FPL Cup. But I wouldn't worry too much about it, to be honest. If you just keep doing what you're doing and, you don't think too much about, what should I do and stuff like that, then you'll be fine. But, yeah, I just wouldn't pay too much attention to your rank and also to the FPL Cup, or, looking at your opponent, trying to cancel out his captaincy and stuff like that. I wouldn't go that far. But, yeah, just take it easy. That would be the main advice. Are you planning to free in Game Week 18? No. Like I said before, Mickey, at the moment my plan is to go in with my 8 players in Game Week 18 and maybe bench boost in 19. But like I said, things are subject to change. But at the moment, planning to save my free hit for another time. Saka or Souček? If you're planning to bench boost, should I say, in the double game week, I would go for Souček. But otherwise, overall, maybe Saka, obviously more exciting pick. He's very offensive and such a quality player. But yeah, to be honest, both good picks. Probably if you just ask me, I'd edge more towards Souček though. Is De Bruyne a must now? I wouldn't say he's a must, because you have to remember, if he blanks in both games, he still gets 6 points. But you know what? He's obviously, for those of you who got rid of him, obviously now you want him back, definitely. Despite his poor form and despite how toothless City have been in attack at times. But yeah, I probably wouldn't say he's a must, but he's obviously now one of the better captaincy options for Game Week 18 and 19. I'm planning on the bench boost in 19 also. Yeah, I think a lot of people are, to be honest, and with the uncertainty in 26, with the European fixtures in and amongst that kind of plays a part. But then again, you look at the flip side. With the current situation in the UK, in December and January, a lot of COVID cases, maybe more games can be postponed. That would be the downside to the bench boost in Game Week 19. But then again, if you sit and think about all these possibilities and stuff and the pros and cons, you're never going to make a decision. But yeah, I think Game Week 19 and 26 are the best times to bench boost. And if you get 20 plus points from your bench boost, some of the players you bring in exclusively for that, then, that's a successful one in my opinion. Should I change Mitchell to Van Aanholt? No, not in my opinion. Mitchell's far better value for money if he starts. And to be honest, he played really well. It'd be a bit harsh to drop him. And Van Aanholt is not worth it for the money. You can go to someone else, I would definitely not go to Van Aanholt in my opinion. Is it worth it to take a -8 hit for Game Week 19 to bench boost? It depends on the players you're bringing in, but you know what? I would say don't be put off a -8. But if it's -12, 16, 20, then I would say, yeah, try not to do it. But -8 is fine, I guess. Depends on who you bring in. If you're bringing in, maybe Souček and stuff like that and Johnston on a -8, then I would probably say reconsider it. But yeah, don't be put off that. And you can still do really well. But bench boost is a bit of an overrated chip. But of course, it's still a nice little chip to have, obviously. Better having it than not having it. 2 free transfers. Thinking of transferring in Dallas for Casey. Team looks like this. Martinez, Cancelo, Soufal, Robertson, Dallas, Kilman, Rashford, Salah, Son, Bruno, Basuma, DCL, Adams, Bamford. Yeah, it looks pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, I'd probably make that move. And you don't really have an overall weakness. Of course, Basuma isn't ideal. I don't know how much money you have to work with. But that's a fine team, there's not too many problems with that. Hey, mate, sorry I'm late. Just starting the beginning of the stream now. Thank you, Aslan, and, hopefully Arsenal win more games. And thank you for joining in. Happy New Year to you as well. Calvert-Lewin out. Oh my God, I don't know, man. The fixture this week, I would hold him for this. But going forward, especially if you want, 15 double game week players, then yeah, fair enough. But you'd probably want him back for game week 20 onwards, as I keep on saying. So yeah, I wouldn't get rid of him this week, but going forward, maybe for 19 and then getting him back in if you can, then yeah, I'd say do it. Martinez, Dallas, me, Dyer, Bruno, Son, Salah, Neto, Calvert, Kane, Bamford, Sub, Jones, Vestergaard, Kilman. Any thoughts? I'd probably get rid of Vestergaard. I think he's missing double game week 19. So if you're holding him in the hopes that he makes it there, I would probably just get rid of him and get someone else in. But yeah, your team is fine. I don't know how much Ben Mee costs, but maybe you can get better value from the likes of Lowton and Taylor when he's fit. And if not, Alioski, and get that double Leeds defence with the great fixtures they have for Game Week 19. That's a good team overall. Hi Dylan, sorry I joined late. If this was asked before, do you think double City defence moving forward could outscore Robertson owners? Thank you, Mantra, and Happy New Year to you. To be honest, no one's asked that question, and you know what? It's very interesting that you raised that point. I actually think, yeah, I actually want Diaz even now with Cancelo, because City, in my opinion, look like the best defensive team in the league. And to be honest, I think they will outscore Robertson, them two combined anyway. But Robertson with his attacking potential, I think that's what separates, that's why people pay the extra money for Robertson. But yeah, I would rather have Diaz and Cancelo than Robertson. I think it's better value for money. But that's a very good question. And to be honest, you know what? Now looking at my team, panic time. Oh my God. Son, Bruno, Kane, Salah. That is the captaincy choice. I'm surprised not many of you have actually asked about that. But in the poll that I did put, Son was the most popular choice. But I do think overall, I still think the likes of Bruno and Salah maybe will be more captained. At least Salah will. I don't know about Bruno. I think he's kind of gone under the radar even with all his points hauls. Like I said, very lucky against Wolves to get the assist in the end. And yeah, I don't know. But something about Bruno. Even though Villa are a really tough team, he did score an assist against them last year, although it was a dubious penalty that he won. It's a tough one. And yeah, before the deadline, there could be a captaincy change on, live here in the stream. Should I bring in Stones for Taylor? Yeah, Nihad, I already told you. I told you 2-3 times. I said, yeah, if you have good squad depth, bring him in. Otherwise, what's the point? If you're going to have two players other than Stones and Stones gets benched, you have no one to cover, then don't do it. But if you have the cover, then yeah, I'd say he's a good choice. But maybe the likes of Dallas could offer better value. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, hopefully you've got that answer this time. Aguero to start. That's a tough one. I mean, Jesus is still out, you would think. But then again, Chelsea away, I just think there's better ways to spend your money if you're thinking about Aguero. I know he has a great record against Chelsea, but I don't know, it's just... With Aguero, it's wait and see. And then if he can build fitness and be consistent, then, you could consider him. But I would try to avoid him. Do I think he'll start? I think he will, but if not, it'll be Ferran Torres up front once again. And to be honest, it worked last game, so why would Pep change something that's not broken? But then again, to be fair, I think Ferran is one of those players with COVID, so yeah, you would back Aguero to start. Is it worth to take out Son next week? I'll have no Spurs players for El Ghazi. Yeah, I think it could be worth it, but I don't know. Son is just one of those players, whenever you bring him out, he just seems to haul. And for his price, I still think he's the best. Although in terms of maybe the next few, Rashford is the standout. Overall, I think Son is still, the highlight. But I don't know. Will Spurs, reignite, that attacking, maybe not flair, but, that attacking efficiency that they had before. We'll have to wait and see. Justin or Mitchell? To start this week, I'd probably go for Justin, yeah. Mahrez and DCL out for Vardy, Aguero and Rafinha. I'd say Vardy over Aguero, and yeah, Rafinha in for Mahrez, yeah. So I'd say Mahrez and DCL out, Vardy and Rafinha in. Whether James worth keeping for Game Week 19, I mean, I'm not sure the extent of his injury, but I'd keep an eye on that. You could maybe look elsewhere, though. I mean, he's been having this injury for a long time, and he played again against Arsenal. He got rushed back, and maybe that has caused a setback. So I would consider getting rid of him, but we'll have to wait and see. What would your bench boost team for Game Week 19 be? So it'd be exactly what you see here, but Kane would be out for Jamie Vardy, and Forster would be out for probably Meslier, if not McCarthy. And I would have 12 double game week players plus the likes of Son. Let's think about this. Son, Calvert-Lewin, and Basuma. But what I'm going to do, if I do bench boost, is obviously put those that I recently transferred on my bench. I don't know if you can count that, but I mean, either way, the bench boost is just added points. That you're going to have some players that you can't fit into your starting lineup that you want to play. And obviously, you can't do that without a bench boost. But it'd be Meslier probably in goal on my bench. Dallas, Let's think about this. Dallas, Cancelo, and Vardy. Yeah, that would be my bench. And to be honest, I'd probably keep Vardy for the long term, and he offers better value for money at the moment than Kane. But I might change my mind if Kane scores a hat-trick against Leeds. Why are you not captaining Son? I mean, I am at the moment, but I'm just reconsidering it because, like I said, Spurs have been very poor offensively. So despite how bad Leeds are defensively, despite the 2 clean sheets on the bounce, just not too sure about Son and Kane. They're just not looked at it. But I do think that this little break they've had and their eagerness to turn things around, I do think they will get some goals. Just also the way that Leeds play, I think it will suit Mourinho perfectly. He's beaten Bielsa every single time he's faced him. I believe it's 4 times. But then again, it's Real Madrid against Bilbao. Bit of a mismatch. But then again, Spurs against Leeds on paper is a mismatch as well. So yeah, I think Son and Kane are great captaincy options. I'm not talking you lot out of it, but there are problems with it. And if you want someone safe, if you're in doubt, probably Bruno's the one to go for. And maybe I should heed my own advice. 3 captaincy blanks for me. Kane, Salah. Need to nail one this week. Bruno for me. For me, it's 4 in a row. And it started with Bruno away to Sheffield, then Kane against Leicester. Then I believe, Salah back-to-back. And Salah was only because Kane didn't have the game against Fulham. So yeah, it's been really poor for me captaincy-wise. And I just need to get this right because that has cost me in terms of my rank. I've gone down from 60 to 111k. So very, very poor there. Hi, I got a similar lineup to yours apart from Son and Zuma. Yeah, I wonder who you have instead. But yeah, hopefully that's a sign of a good team. Take a -4 for Robertson or play Cancelo. I'd play Cancelo probably. If you don't have bench cover, I mean, there is the risk that Cancelo doesn't play. But I would probably just play Cancelo and save the -4. Southampton could score against Liverpool. But yeah, I'd probably save Cancelo anyway. If he doesn't play here, he should be back for Game Week 18. Sell DCL for Rodrigo this week or next game week? Probably next game week, I would say. Yeah, next game week. Who's on your bench? Or should I say, WT, I would say for Game Week 19, because remember, in Game Week 18, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has a fixture and Rodrigo doesn't. So bear that in mind. Who's on your bench? Just tuned in. So on my bench, it is Dallas, who I brought in for this game week, Walker-Peters and Basuma. So yeah, it's a good bench overall, but not with the fixtures. So if Walker-Peters and Dallas had better fixtures, of course, that's a really strong bench. But yeah, Basuma obviously not ideal. And one thing I can do, of course, is Kane to Vardy, and then I can move Basuma to Saka or Souček. But I'm probably more inclined to change my second keeper if I am bench boosting in Game Week 19. Meslier or Martinez? For this game week, I'd probably still go for Martinez. Bruno or Son captain? Either one of them, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, at the moment, I've got it on Son. You know what? If you want someone safe, reliable, Bruno's your guy. If you want a bit more of an explosive pick, then yeah, I'd go for Son. Is Stones a good move? Does he start a lot, or should I look to get Diaz? Well, like I said before, early in the stream, Chris, the thing with Stones, I think he is part of the first choice centre-back partnership. Diaz is the standout. He's the nailed pick. So if you don't want headaches, and if you want someone who's going to start 95% of City's games, Diaz is your guy. But Stones, in any important game, and in most games he will be playing, but what Pep does, he kind of, he tries to save him a bit. And because of the rotation as well, the amount of squad depth they have, they've got Ake and stuff like that, Laporte, they've got some great options. Fernandinho could also play centre-back. He sometimes rotates, and Stones is injury-prone. That's the main reason. And he wants to save him because he's been in great form. He doesn't want to just overplay him and then he gets injured. So every 3 or 4 games, just expect Stones to be benched in one of them. But if you have enough cover with the rest of your defence and, it's not really a problem, then yeah, I'd say Stones is better value for money. Otherwise, if you just want to, bear the fruits of most of City's clean sheets and not really have any selection headaches, go for Diaz. That would be my answer for that. Thoughts on Kane out for Vardy and Kilman out for Alioski? I'd probably save that for Game Week 19, but I'm not sure if you're going to free hit in Game Week 18 because then you'd be left with 1 free transfer in 19, regardless of if you saved up 2. But yeah, I think those are good moves overall, and if you're bench boosting, very, very good choices. Alioski, arguably better option than Dallas. Whenever they've both played, he's got better statistics in every single department offensively. But Alioski, is he nailed on? Not so much as Dallas, but Alioski, very good price, very good for what he's doing. And yeah, Vardy, I think better form, also double game week. Yeah, I think those are good moves. Whether you want to do it now or in game week 18 or 19, it's up to you. But yeah, I would make those moves at some point. My team: Mendy, Martinez, Cancelo, Mitchell, Creswell, Chilwell, Bruno, Rashford, Salah, Podence, Bowen, Che, Kane and Bamford. Transfers: thinking of Robertson and Brewster for Chilwell and Che. I don't think so, because you're getting Brewster in, and although Robertson is probably an upgrade on Chilwell is better value for money, and Che Adams is a good pick for the double game week, so I wouldn't do that. Holding for the next few weeks? Yeah, I mean, I can see why, but if you're thinking of, bench boosting in game week 19, I would say no. And there are still better options. I think Alioski, for example, better value. Lowton, better value. And I still don't expect Arsenal to keep too many clean sheets. Even if they do well defensively, Arsenal are the type of team to concede late on, or just concede one goal every few games. So yeah, I'd probably say no. But if you really, back it, you think Holding's going to do well, then fair enough, go for it. McCarthy or Johnston in goal? Like I said before, Johnston, but not much to separate them. Two tough fixtures for both respective teams. Southampton obviously better than West Brom, but Liverpool better than Arsenal. So yeah, I'd probably just go for Johnston. What do you think of Rodrigo? Yeah, I think he's a good differential pick, and if you have him and Bamford, you're covering quite a few of Leeds' goals. But then again, anyone can pop up for Leeds. And to be honest, if you don't have Che Adams and you already have Bamford, I would probably go for him over Rodrigo. But he's still, one of the best options around that price, especially with the double game weeks in mind. Taylor replacement? Probably Lowton if you want a like-for-like one, if not Alioski if you don't have him already. I think those would be the best ones around the same price. Double defence West Ham for double game week. Oh yeah, thank you Cameron. That's another guy actually for AGQTV99's question. Balbuena is another great choice for you. And yeah, I think double West Ham defence for the double game week is very good. But going forward, especially after their fixtures turn around 22, 23, 24... I would definitely try to get rid of that, second West Ham defender. But for the double game week 19, and especially if you're going to bench boost, I think that's a very good choice. Bench one of Diaz, Creswell, Werner, and Dallas. Probably Werner. Yeah, you know what? I'd probably bench Dallas, probably. But yeah, Werner, I'd probably get rid of him. I'm just telling you, in my opinion. Give me a second. Yeah. Neto or Saka? I think if you want to start this player most weeks, I would probably go for Neto. But as a fifth option to come off your bench, I think Saka's the better choice. Thoughts on Andy Robertson captain? Not for me. And Southampton are a good team, but of course I see the logic. And to be honest, it's probably going to be better than whoever I captain. But for me personally, I'd say no. Kevin De Bruyne as capture. I'm guessing you're saying captain. Yeah, I would. I'd probably say no, especially if you have Salah, Bruno, Son, Kane. Even Vardy. I think they're all better options, but you never know. KDB has scored at Stamford Bridge before for Manchester City, but I'll probably say no. Mate, please rate my premiums and my cup opponent premiums. I have Salah, Vardy, Lacazette, Rashford, and Grealish, and Zaha non-premium. Opponent has Kane, Son, Salah, Grealish, Calvert, Bamford. To be honest, I mean, no matter whichever looks better, and to be honest, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on who gets the points. Also the fixtures, and also how the team's set up. I wouldn't just pay too much attention to that, if I'm being honest. Just forget about the FL Cup. Just focus on your team. Captain whoever you think is going to be the best for this game week. And sort out your bench. Make sure they have a decent bench, just in case of rotation or postponements or stuff like that. But yeah, he has some very good players, I have to say that. But then again, Grealish, Calvert-Lewin haven't been doing it lately. Salah hasn't been doing it in the last two. Kane and Son haven't been doing it for like 4 or 5 game weeks. So yeah, I wouldn't think too much about that. Take Bowen out for Rafinha or Zaha? I'd probably do it for Rafinha. And let's go all the way to the front, because I missed a lot of questions. I was going to captain Son, and seeing you captaining him, I changed my mind to Bruno. Happy New Year, mate. Wow, that's really bad. You know what? I'm probably going to captain Bruno then. Welbeck out? Yeah, I would get rid of him. I'm playing Taylor in case he magically plays. I don't think he will, but you never know. KDB or Sterling? I still think it's KDB, but in terms of recent form, Sterling has been edging him and getting significantly, a big number of points over him. So yeah, I'd probably go for KDB still, but Sterling, decent differential. What should I do with Reece James now that he has been ruled out? I'd probably get rid of him, but I don't know how long he is out for. So keep an eye on the updates, but yeah, probably just get someone else. Happy New Year. Keep up the good stuff. Thank you, KT, and good luck with your game week. Hopefully you do really well. Zaha versus Sheffield United, captaincy worthy. Not for me. Obviously, a good differential like that could boost you up the ranks, but yeah, no, not for me. Che Adams or Wilson? I'd say Che Adams because of the double game week. 8-point hit. Ryan, Taylor, De Bruyne out. Verips, Dallas, Sonnen. Who is Verips? I'm sorry if I'm being a bit, ignorant there, but I'm not too sure. Dallas and Son I like. Actually, wait, you're getting rid of Ryan, so you're getting a guy called Verips. I don't even know who that is. Vardy could be the dark horse here. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he's the best differential captaincy, out of the big hitters. Bruno or Vardy? I think Bruno. He's the safer pick, but Vardy, still, never underestimate him. Bruno, Kane, or Son for captaincy. I mean, I've got it on Son right now, but I might change it to Bruno or to Kane. It could be any single one of them. If you want someone safe, go for Bruno. Bruno or Vardy for captaincy. Bruno, definitely. Yes, let's go all the way down. Stone starting. I'm not too sure. I think he will. There's no one actually knows, who's actually got COVID. I think Edison's one of them. Obviously Walker and Jesus. Not too sure about the others. It could be Cancelo and Torres. But I think Stones will start, yeah. But I couldn't tell you for sure. Who would you captain if not Son or Kane? Bruno. Definitely Bruno. As you can see, he's my vice captain. And I might even, switch the captaincy to him. Guardiola says 5 first-team players ruled out. Yeah, but should be back for Game Week 18. So I wouldn't, be in a rush to get them out. As much as obviously they have a lot of money. They are quite expensive. And to have them on your bench is not ideal. But I'd probably hold them. But it's obviously not ideal. Play Dallas and bench Watkins. I'd probably play Watkins, but I don't know. I expect both of them to blank if I'm being honest. But Watkins is more likely to get 2 points because if Spurs score 2 or more, Dallas is on for 1 point unless he gets an attack in return. Not sure when to use the chips. So your team is Martinez, Keane, Cancelo, Zuma, Robertson, Dallas, Neto, Salah, Son, Kane, Vardy. Yeah, it's a good team. I mean, I'm not too sure about Keane. I don't like Everton defensively, so I would get rid of him. In terms of, blank game week 18, you've got a few players. You've got Martinez, Cancelo, Neto, Son, Kane. So you've got those for blank game week 18, and it depends on who you have on your bench. And for double game week 19, you've got quite a few players. I mean, you could play a number of ways. You could free hit in 18, you could bench boost in 19, or play your triple captaincy on Salah. But yeah, I think the main kind of, problem with your team would probably be, having no Bruno. And yeah, having no United cover really. That would be my thing. Keep Grealish or swap him out? I'd probably keep him, but if you want to swap him out, there's El Ghazi, there's Rafinha. I think those would be good options to replace him. But then again, El Ghazi could lose a spot with Barkley coming back. But what I think will happen is El Ghazi will shift to the right, Barkley will be in the centre, and Grealish gets shifted back to the left. You can't bench Grealish, surely not. Is there any player better than Souček at the same price range for double game week? And I have Rafinha. Probably El Ghazi. I'd say El Ghazi. If you back him to start, he could lose a spot. But with the form he's in, I don't think he will be dropped. What do you use to make your intro and your thumbnail? So follow this guy on Instagram, ajdc.vzl. He helped me make my thumbnail. Oh, sorry, not my thumbnail, but just like, my logos and stuff. And that's what I use in my intro. And I use Premiere Pro to obviously edit my intros and stuff like that, and also my videos. And obviously you can put some different effects on it and transitions. And at the moment, obviously, because I can't do it directly from Premiere Pro, I use OBS Studio, which is what enables me to use my intro and do transitions and be live to all of you. And in terms of my thumbnail, I just do it myself. I put pictures together, I edit them, and I create the actual title myself. The writing that you see in the thumbnail with Premiere Pro. So yeah, it's mainly those sort of softwares. But yeah, thank you for that question. Alba for captaincy. Not for me. Don't captain Alba in my opinion, but it's up to you. Stones or Chilwell to start? I'd probably go for Stones. I back him more for the clean sheet, but then again, Chilwell more offensive. Oh my god, I'm looking at my team now, and yeah, we've got 1 minute left. Is there going to be a last minute captaincy switch, just like there was last week, where I switched the captaincy to Kane, and then the game got postponed at the end? And yeah, I think the bad luck will end in 2021. All of that is left in 2020. If obviously 4 captaincy blanks in a row for me. And also, my defender transfer curse since Game Week 13 has been an absolute nightmare. But Son, Kane, Bruno, Salah, Vardy, they are the best captaincy options this week. Son, very explosive, could do very well against Leeds. Bruno, though, just the safest guy. I think I'm going to stick with Son. But I think for the next few weeks, it's between Bruno and Salah. And at the moment, I'm actually considering Bruno for my captaincy in Game Week 18 and 19. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So if I can't get it right there, then I never will, to be honest. But yeah, it's 4 o'clock, so the deadline has passed. And I'll be answering any questions. If any of you still stay in the chat, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Still 70 people here, and at one point we reached over 100 people. So I really appreciate all the support, and thank you. And yeah, you know, almost at 2,000 subscribers, like I said. If you haven't already, smash the like button. Share this video around with everyone who loves FPL. And yeah, like I said, subscribe. It only takes a few seconds. And if you want me to improve in any way, then let me know. Let's go through these questions. Yeah, 3 minutes out. Who are you going to captain? Yeah, it's Son. Son is the captaincy. I haven't changed it. And if I try to change it now, it will refresh and there's no more FPL site. Sorry for repeating. I couldn't find the answer. Is Diaz, Robertson, Chilwell too expensive as a back three? It would be a 3-5-2 with DCL and Bamford up front. I don't think it's too expensive. Obviously, Robertson, like I said, I think there are better ways of spending the money. But if you are happy with your midfield and your attack, and you're getting a lot of points, then, you know, it's fine. You know, you don't have to change, you know, something that's working for you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah, I think I really like that, you know, back three. Ideally, I would have something very similar to that. You know, someone from Liverpool, City and Chelsea, 3 of the best defensive teams in the league. And yeah, your front two is very good. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Bamford. So yeah, I do like that. I don't think it's too expensive. Although, like I said, I do think there might be better value options than Robertson. Doesn't mean it's too expensive or that he's a bad choice. Play Jones or Dallas or Brewster? Probably Dallas. Who should I start between Mitchell and Diaz? Diaz, definitely. I know Mitchell, yeah, he does play a lackluster Sheffield. That is true. You know, to be honest, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the deadline has passed. Yeah, I'm guessing you already did that. So you played Mitchell and then you bring in Diaz. So yeah, I would say that, but I don't know. I still think City can get a clean sheet. We'll have to wait and see. I'll be having 15 players to play in double game week with bench boost. That's good. Yeah, that would work very well for you. Any news on Taylor? I don't think there is any news recently. But Sean Dyche looked pissed off after the game, and I think it could be a couple of weeks or months. But we'll have to wait and see for all the latest updates. And remember, anything that comes out now, you know, they're all embargoed press conferences, so they come from days before, so the information won't always be, you know, the most up to date, even if obviously you see, oh, Sean Dyche said this in a press conference or whatever. Stones or Chilwell to start? Like I said already, I'd probably play Stones. Is Struijk a good replacement for Mitchell? No, not for me, because Mitchell had a very good performance and he's more likely to keep his spot. And Struijk, he's probably going to lose his spot at some point. I also bought into that on my wildcard. I brought in Struijk as my 5th you know, defender. It didn't work out, and you know, he lost his spot instantly. Even got substituted in like 10-20 minutes, I remember, when he was on a yellow card. Yeah, and it's a sideways move. I would stick to Mitchell. What's your rank? My rank, unfortunately, is 111k. So it's still a strong season so far, but I was 60k last week, and yeah, just a poor week. 4 captaincy blanks in a row. Defender transfer nightmares has all kind of cost me, but still, I've got the team, I've got the players to bounce back, and with this chip strategy, if I do pick the right one, I do believe I can push back up to the top 50k and then see what happens from there. Best of luck to everyone this week. Let's get 2021 off to a brilliant FPL start. Thank you, Savage Mode, and likewise, although it is outside our control, to be honest, and yeah, hopefully we do well though. Let's go Son, boys. Yeah, if Son does blank, I'm just saying it now, that's 5 captaincy blanks in a row for me, and that's the worst run I've ever been on. And of course, it can happen to anyone. I'm pretty sure better FPL managers than me have had even worse sort of luck or captaincy decisions. But, you know, it's just not ideal, and it will cost me ranks in the end if I don't start getting it right. But hopefully it does work. Salad captain. Yeah, Salah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Salah's very dangerous when, you know, you underestimate him. But I don't know. I still think he's a good option this week. But the fact that he's facing Southampton, who've been very good defensively recently, the fact that Salah's been so off form, missing a lot of chances, and Liverpool also, you know, they're kind of susceptible to dropping points kind of randomly. at the moment, the safest and the most secure pick is Bruno. But Bruno, he could still blank against Villa. I think he won't. To be honest, I think they're all going to do well. All of those options that I discussed that I could have captained: Kane, Son, Fernandes, and Salah. But you never know. Maybe one of them's going to blank and it's going to be the one I captained. But yeah, I think Salah is going to do well. Dallas or Jones? Like I said, Dallas. There's no need to spam the chat. You sound like Itani. Oh, well, thanks. Hopefully that's a good thing. Dallas or Jones? Yeah. I have to put you on timeout, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. But yeah, no spamming in the chat. Leno for double game week. I'm guessing that's what you're saying. Well, Arsenal don't have a double game week in 19. Let's look at actually, yeah. But yeah, Arsenal don't have a double game week in 19 as things stand. For the blank game week, yeah, same thing. Leno doesn't have a fixture there either. So yeah, don't go for Leno. Welcome Atul, and or should I say thank you Atul, and good luck to you as well. Triple captaincy, bench boost, free hit. Which is the most important chip in FPL? Because thinking to use triple captaincy in 19, because most managers will use bench boost and free hit in game week 18. I think free hit is the best one, because think about it. You could go into a game week like, let's say 29 for example, which is a long way ahead, but it's going to be a blank game week. You could go in there before the game week with 0 players who are obviously going to have a fixture in that game week, and you can literally build a team of 11 and you can get a lot of points. So I think the free hit is the most important one. So that's why if you have 7 or more players in blank game week 18, you could consider saving it for, another time where you can get even more points from it. And after that, I mean, it ultimately depends. Bench boost and triple captaincy are going to be very similar. If you get 20 points or more extra than what you would have got, if you just stuck with your normal team, I would consider that successful, uses of the chips. So I think free is the most important. After that, I'd probably say bench boost and then triple captaincy, I guess. But I don't know, if you nail a triple captaincy, let's say if you triple captain Salah against Leeds in the first game of the season, then yeah, that's a lot of points. You get 40 extra points basically, or should I say 20 extra points, because he got 20 points overall. Yeah, 20 extra points. So to be honest, yeah, I think bench boost would be the second best and triple captaincy third. That's a very good question. Thank you for that. What was Bruno's price when he came in February, approximately? What do you remember? I think he was 9 million, if not 9.5, but he was definitely, I think, 9 million. And I remember looking at that and thinking, maybe that's a bit expensive, but you know what? I'll wait and see how he does. And then I like the look of him. I brought him in for the City game. He got an assist, and then from there on, I had him for the rest of the season, I believe. So yeah, he did very well for me. And yeah, Bruno's just probably the best FPL asset at the moment, but Salah is Salah. Are you going to hit chips for the next 2 weeks? Like I said, at the moment, I'm probably going to save my free hit for game week 18, so I'm not going to use it there because I have 8 players, including Basuma, to play there. And for game week 19, at the moment, I'm thinking of bench boosting. And yeah, I would have 2 free transfers if I don't free hit. And that would be Kane to Vardy and probably Forster to Meslier. And in that case, I'd have 12 double game week players plus Basuma, plus Son and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who still have, decent fixtures, I guess, for that solo game week. Of course, Basuma isn't ideal on a bench boost. But like I said, I'm probably going to put all of my new signings on the bench. But either way, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. You can't fit everyone in, especially if you have 14, 15 players. And a bench boost could be the right thing to do. Of course, ideally I'd have Souček or Rafinha instead of Basuma, but that would require a downgrade elsewhere, and I don't want to take a -8 or 12 hit to do that. So yeah, but that's my plan at the moment. Just brought in Soufal, also have Creswell. Yep, I think that's a good option for the double game week, but like I said, going forward from game week 20 onwards, I don't think it's the right thing to do to have double West Ham defence. And to be honest, if you want to save a bit of money, you could actually get Balbuena, but I think, yeah, you already got Soufal and he's the better option overall. What you could do is evaluate who's doing better between Soufal and Creswell and then get rid of the other one. And I think Soufal still offers better value for money, but Creswell definitely, he's on set pieces at times and probably the better option overall if you can afford it. Starting Meslier or McCarthy? Probably Meslier, but yeah, I don't know actually. Yeah, probably Meslier, but not too sure about that. Double game week, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, Leno doesn't have a double game week. I think you're the one who said that. But yeah. -8 or -4 in the next 2 game weeks, or then bench boost and wildcard in 19, or try to save the chip. Yeah, -8 and -4, like I said, it's fine. I'm not saying don't take hits, but try to minimize them if possible. And yeah, it depends on your team. I don't know how many players you have for game week 18. If you have, let's say, 6 or fewer, I would consider using the free hit in that case. But if you have 7 or more, especially, the likes of Kane, Bruno, these big hitters, I would probably save the free hit in that case. And as for game week 19, you could, if you don't want to use your bench boost there, if you don't have enough double game week players, you could use a triple captaincy on a Bruno, on a Vardy, and also on a Salah. So yeah, there's different ways you can go about it. There's no set formula. It all depends on your team. But ultimately, yeah, you could take a -8, you could take a -4, you could free hit, you could not free hit, you could wildcard, you could bench boost, you could triple captain, and you do well any single way. But of course, it's hard to tell which one's going to get you the most points. But yeah, like I already explained it to you, that kind of level, way of measuring game week 18, I think is the best way. So if you have 6 or fewer players for that game week, I would probably free hit. Otherwise, I would try save it. I saw a team on Twitter who has the same team from game week 1, no transfers made, and has a rank of 10k. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Sometimes when you kind of, micromanage your team, you tinker, you make things worse. Sometimes leaving things as they are is the best thing to do. So for example, in my team, and I know I'm nowhere near 10k at the moment, when I was kind of, keeping transfers to a minimum, I was fine and I was doing really well, and I ended up going to 60k. But as soon as I started tinkering with my defense, for the first time to Diaz and then getting Chua and then, all that bad luck that spewed out of that, that's when it kind of went downhill. So sometimes, yeah, keeping things the same is the best thing to do. Sorry, I just checked in. Happy New Year. Are you changing your chip strategy? Potential wildcard game week 18, thinking about KDB. Thank you, Peter. Happy New Year to you as well, and thank you for joining in. And like I've said before, at the moment, my plan is to possibly save the free hit in game week 18 for another double game week or a blank game week. And for game week 19, I am thinking of bench boosting. But if not, I'll either triple captain someone like Salah or Bruno. And if not, I will save both of those chips for later on in the season. But thank you for your question. And as for KDB, yeah, I get that completely. I think now, all of a sudden, he's one of the most appealing options because of his fixtures. He's pretty much got 3 home games in a row. And he's not blanking in 18. He's got 2 games in game week 19. It's incredible. If this was KDB from last season, of course, I'd be really worried, and City. And to be honest, if Aguero is fit, I would be very worried not owning KDB. And it's something that's a really serious possibility for me because, like I said, it's really hard for me to fit him in. I don't want to get rid of Bruno. I don't want to get rid of Salah. So it's very difficult to fit him in for me personally. But if you can do it and you can keep those sort of players, then yeah, I'd probably go for it. Would Justin and Kilman out for Alioski and Holding be good? Alioski, yes. Holding, not so much. So maybe for this game week, that will get you a lot of points. But going forward, not too sure about that. And also, Justin's a double game week player. You're getting Alioski, another double game week player, but Holding isn't. That is an upgrade on Kilman, in my opinion, because obviously Holding's more likely to start. But yeah, not too sure about Holding, to be honest. Oh my god, my little brother was on my phone. Now Johnny Evans is triple captain for the week. What? Oh, well, to be honest, I mean, like I said, so to try and be positive about the situation, triple captaincy, like, think about it. So Salah with a hat-trick gets 20 points against Leeds, yeah? So if you captain him normally, you obviously get 20 more points. But if you triple captain, you get an extra 20 points. So triple captaincy is probably the most overrated chip. And hopefully I don't get negative karma for that and I triple captain someone poor like last year. But yeah, don't worry too much about it. But of course, that's not ideal. And to be honest, yeah, try to keep that phone as far away as possible from your brother. Oh my god. I captain Son, don't worry, he will score. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to let football do the talking. At this point, I don't even know because if it's 5 captaincy blanks in a row, yeah, I'm just in the mud, am I? And we've actually reached 2,000 subscribers. I have to say thank you, everyone who helped me achieve this. And yeah, first stream of 2021, and we've reached 2,000 subscribers. I haven't seen exactly how many, but really appreciate it. And even, during the early hours of the morning, I was getting subscribers from people, and I have to say, really appreciate it. And yeah, like I keep on saying, if there's any way I can improve, let me know. because there's definitely more content I can provide and different ways I can improve. And, once again today, so many people here, over 100, have to say thank you so much. And definitely one thing that I'm telling myself to do is to go through chats quicker, because as much as I like to give in-depth analysis, to every single answer, there's a lot of people waiting, and you could be half an hour behind as I was at one point. So apologies for that, but thank you very much. And thank you at all. Thank you so much for your support, and hopefully we keep on getting those green arrows. Let me keep going through these questions. Thank you, Savage Mode, for the comment. I really appreciate it. Let's go through these questions. Are the high scores in Game Week 16 a testament to brilliant squad depth and player variety over a number of teams, or just people tripling up on leads? To be honest, that's a good point. It's a bit of everything, to be honest. A lot of people I know tripled up on leads, and that was the main thing. And most people I saw overall, not just people that I know, but also people I don't know. In terms of squad depth, obviously, if I had a bit of squad depth, that would have been a bit, nice. But then again, I had Sufa on my bench, and he didn't even play, and he's a decent, option to come off the bench normally. But a lot of rotation, I think, came into it. Also the postponements and stuff like that. And if you didn't have Spurs players and stuff like that, and you obviously tripled up on leads, you're literally, striking gold there. The best thing about your channel, mate, is that you answer every question. Hope it gets bigger, although it will affect us. Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. I mean, to be honest, like I said, it's really difficult to answer every single question, but of course I try my best. And there are a lot of questions that I wasn't able to answer because obviously, you have to try, get more up to date to the ones who are asking questions right now. So yeah, but thank you so much for your comment, and I'll keep on trying to answer questions as much as possible. Transferred in Fabianski, instantly regretted it. Locked myself out for getting Antonio in Game Week 12. Have Souček and Sufa already. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of similar to me then with Dallas. Getting him in kind of prices me out of the likes of Souček in a way, if I were to try do that. But end of the day, you still got a good keeper. For the double game week, he's probably the best option, if we're being honest, in terms of, the fixtures anyway. And you have double West Ham defence, pretty much. That's pretty good. And obviously, it's risky. If you don't get the clean sheets there, then, it's a bit of a sticky situation. But yeah, I still think you have a good team. And I don't know who you would have gotten in for, to get Antonio in. But yeah, that's still a good team, to be honest. It's still a good team. And you should do really well. Dyer, Stones, Sufa, I'll pick anyone. Okay, probably Stones. That's in my opinion. But only if you have 3 or 4 other playing defenders and, of course, enough players overall and good squad depth. Otherwise, probably go for Sufa. But yeah, I think Stones would be my pick. Welcome, Stranded Man. Thank you for joining in. Did I say it right? Yeah, Stranded Man. Should I make Salah or Bruno captain? If this is for Game Week 17, then I'd probably say Fernandes. And to be honest, 18, Salah doesn't have a fixture, so I'd say Fernandes again. Yeah. Let's keep on going. So, yeah. 2,000 subscribers. Yeah, thank you, Savage Mode. Is, like I said, a good option up front. Yeah, Lacazette, I mean, yeah, he's a good differential, I think, but yeah, like I said, oh my God. Sorry if I missed. Why captain Son over Kane? Kane on penalties. Just the way that Leeds play. Son is, blistering on the counter-attack. And as I discussed earlier, hopefully it doesn't refresh the page now, I was analysing the teams that play in a similar way to Leeds. A high line, really offensive, pressing really up front. And so look at Southampton. Son produced against him, so did Kane, to be fair. Man United did the same thing with 10 men, though. And Kane also did well. Then you look at Manchester City. Kane got an assist, but Son was the main guy, the MVP with the goal. Once again, City, very similar to how Leeds play a high line. Spurs exploited that even just once, and Son got 10 points for that. Arsenal, I know Arsenal have been poor this season, but they played a high line. They were pressing really high up. And same thing, 2 counter-attacks. Son and Kane both did very well. But once again, Son actually outperformed him in terms of the points anyway. And then we look at Liverpool. Kane blanked in that, but Son once again did the business against such a high line. And I just think the way Leeds play is going to suit Son and Kane perfectly. There's no right or wrong answer in terms of who to captain. I had the captaincy on Kane. I also had it on Bruno. But end of the day, I just went with Son and just hoping for, some captaincy points finally, because it's been such a long time. And if I don't get it soon, then yeah, I'm doomed. Who should I captain this week? It's easy. I'm guessing, for 18, I would probably captain Bruno if you have him. I'm not too sure how your team is overall, but Bruno's probably going to be my captain for Game Week 18. I captain Bellerin accidentally. Hope he gets a clean sheet and an assist. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he does, you know, not only for your points, but also for Arsenal. So yeah, hopefully he does that. Kevin De Bruyne, triple captaincy game week 19. It is an option, Liam. It is an option. However, I do think, at least in my case, I'm going to be targeting Bruno or Salah for the triple captaincy this year. Congratulations on the 2,000 subscribers. Nice way to start your year. Thank you for the consistent content. We appreciate it. Wish you all the best. Thank you, Mickey. And I have to say, very humbled by your support and also just all your great questions and comments. And yeah, hopefully more green arrows to come. I went with Bruno captain over Son. My plan was to go Son for weeks. Yeah, fair enough. And Bruno's the safer pick, so maybe you have made the right decision there, Kieran. Was it worth bringing in Son for a Chilwell downgrade to Sufal? I'm not sure who you brought in for Son, so that obviously would be, the thing that kind of determines that. But yeah, I mean, it's still not bad. Sufal's still a good option for the double game week. Remember that. Maybe better than Chilwell. But going forward, I do think Chilwell's the better option. And yeah, like I said, I don't know who you brought in or brought out, should I say, for Son. Dylan, I've got a similar squad to you. Thinking of going with 7 players for blank game week 18 and 4 transfers away from a bench boost for game week 19. What do you think? So that will probably require a -4 or -8 hit. But yeah, I think that's fine, And it also depends on the quality of the double game week players you have. But yeah, I do like that, to be honest. And good luck. And to be honest, yeah, I would actually probably do that. Free hit, or should I say save the free hit for later on. And yeah, use those transfers, those free transfers to bench boost in 19. You know what that means. Son is going to bang. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Dylan going to save the free as well. 8 players playing in game week 18. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how your team is. It might be similar to mine, but if I were to free hit, and I've showed this before in previous streams, what I would free hit to, maybe I would change the keeper to Darlow against Sheffield away, or maybe even De Gea, now that he's got Burnley away or something like that. And maybe getting a United defender, another City defender, maybe De Bruyne or Rashford. I could get these kind of players in, and then Wilson up front. But really, I'm not improving it too much. I've got the crux, the main crux that I want. Bruno Fernandes, Kane, Son, Cancelo if he actually, plays. Grealish is still a good choice. Calvert-Lewin and Martinez is still a good choice. So, yeah, it's not ideal because also I've got, 2 Villa players up against my 2 Spurs players in that week. But it's still, it's not too bad, Still some good players there. And there could be points all round. But yeah, I think there could be more upside to saving your free hit for a double game week, like I keep on saying. Maybe game week 26. Or a smaller double game week. Or another blank game week like 29. So yeah, I think there are better choices if you have already 8 or more. All the going for KDB, but majority are ignoring Sterling, which can be a differential, and he has more points in the last 3 games than KDB. Yeah, even going back further than that, I think the last 5-6 games he's got more points. So yeah, I've discussed this already with Sterling, and I think he's a good differential. I still prefer KDB, but Sterling, in terms of form, there's no question about it. He's been in better form. He's been getting more points than KDB. What is better for double game week? Vardy, Grealish, Cancelo, and Robertson, or Martial, KDB, Cancelo, Justin? Very good question. I would probably go for the first one because Vardy's better than Martial. Obviously, KDB is probably still better than Grealish, but Grealish offers better value for money. Cancelo's the same, and Robertson's better than Justin. So I'd go for the first set of players that you went for. What is GDW? I'm guessing it's a double game week. Normally it's written DGW, but yeah, either way, I haven't used that sort of terminology. But yeah. Current team: Martinez, Dallas, Chilwell, Lowton, Sufal, Mitchell, Grealish, Son. It says songs there. Salah, Bruno, Romeu, DCL, Bamford, Martial, KDB or Sterling for Son. I'd probably say KDB, but if you want a differential, as HM pointed out, you could go for Sterling. You can't really go wrong with either one of them, really. But yeah, you've got Salah and Bruno at least, and you're getting rid of Son. But Sheffield away, in game week 19, just bear that in mind. But yeah, I'd probably go for KDB only just, but can't go wrong with either one of them. Happy New Year and well done on 2,000 subscribers. Thank you, Ventini, and thank you for joining in the UCL fantasy streams also, and really appreciate your support. Hopefully you have a great New Year and obviously healthy, prosperous for all your family and friends. Speaking of hits, a few game weeks ago, I accidentally took a -32. I think I remember you saying this, yeah. Trying to play a wild card on a deadline. I never took a hit since then and currently sitting pretty on 140k. If I hadn't taken that hit, yeah, you could be even much higher, to be honest. But it is what it is. Sometimes that happens, but always, always activate the wildcard even after you take a hit, because like I always say, if you're planning on wildcarding and then you make the changes, activate the wildcard and then it cancels out all the hits. And, there's no problem there. But yeah, minus 32 is pretty bad. I've taken minus 20s in weeks before. And yeah, ever since I stopped doing that, I've seen much better results. Why Son over Kane? Yeah, like I already explained, there's no right or wrong answer. Kane is on penalties. But if you look at, Spurs' record against these teams with a high line, teams that are going to play similar to Leeds, Son is the one who actually outscores Kane. And also, Son is the more explosive player. Kane has, delivered in more games, but sometimes he just gets 4, 5, 6 points, and Son is the more explosive asset. So that's why I went with Son. There's no right or wrong answer. They both can do extremely well. And to be honest, the safest one to captain this week was probably Bruno, but it is what it is. Arsenal career mode streams in 2021 would be very interesting, where you take Arsenal in the future. Yeah, that could be something that happens. The problem with PS4, it makes such a noise, but could still do that. And yeah, I actually have a career mode going on right now. But what I do basically is I also, think in terms of, the scenarios happening in the game. So if I'm, finding it extremely easy or whatever, I turn up the difficulty or whatever. But if I win the league or something, which I did in my first season, I will then, buy some more ambitious players. Because obviously, if you win a league title, you're not still going to be buying, kind of some average players. You're going to be targeting maybe Sakario, all these kind of top quality players. So that's kind of what I have. So I have a bit of a super team right now. I've kind of got 2 top quality players in each position. And yeah, I'm playing on Legendary, sometimes Ultimate, and I'm still finding it fairly easy, to be honest. And I can go seasons unbeaten. But anyway, enough about FIFA. But yeah, it could be something that happens in the future. Thank you, Savage Mode, for your suggestion. Should I go for a -8 for the bench boost? If you're happy with the players you're bringing on the bench boost, go for it. I would probably say yeah. But otherwise, if you're not too sure on some of the players, if you're bringing in Johnston, kind of these players you could blank, I would probably reconsider. Congratulations on 2,000 subscribers, Dylan. Thanks for everything. Keep going, bro. Thank you, WT. And yeah, I'll keep on going, and have to say thank you for your support and all your great questions and comments, and hopefully we can keep pushing on. Your team is perfect for this game. We should do really well. Thank you. I mean, I hope you're right, but I mean, let's talk about the things that can go wrong. The captaincy, I might have got it on the wrong guy once again. And what I don't like about this is, the kind of conflicts. So Cancelo is playing Zuma if they obviously both start. Son and Kane, they're both playing Dallas if he is to come on. It's not going down. And Walker-Peters is facing Salah. Fernandes is facing Martinez. So there's going to be some blanks for sure. Some guaranteed blanks. But it is what it is. I mean, I like the team overall, but for this game week specifically, thinking about the fixtures and stuff, I mean, look at the defenders and the keeper. Pretty awful, but yeah, thank you for your comment. Hopefully it pays dividends. Cancelo got COVID. So Pep hasn't disclosed, the details of who has COVID and whatnot. But it seems like, obviously, Jesus and Walker are confirmed. And it looks like Ederson's the other one. And the other 2 rumoured players are Ferran Torres and Cancelo. However, there is a picture of Cancelo in training yesterday, or at least, arriving to training. And then there's a picture that he posted, saying Happy New Year, but he had no one around with him. And people were doing some detective work. They were saying, oh, but look at the reflection of his jeans or something like that. And, oh, who took the picture for him and stuff like that. So people are going overdrive at the moment. But, yeah, I don't know. There's rumours that he has COVID. Then there's obviously, reports that he's not showing any symptoms. And then there's some people saying that he doesn't have COVID whatsoever. So we'll just have to wait and see for the Chelsea game. But yeah, I couldn't really tell you for sure, if I'm being honest. Thank you for your insight, Dylan. All the best for Game Week 17. Kane out for Antonio, by the way, in Game Week 19. Probably Che Adams. Fair enough. Yeah. Thank you for your comment. And good luck, the Scrambler, for Game Week 17 and onwards. Hopefully it's not another painful one like Game Week 16. What do you think about Emil Smith-Rowe? Got West Brom this week. I like Smith-Rowe as a player. He offers something that no other Arsenal player does. But speaking exclusively about FPL, I just think stay away for now. He may get an assist or 2, but think about it. The only assist he has gotten since playing in the Premier League was the Saka, which was a bit of, I wouldn't say a fluky goal, but it was a bit of a goal that doesn't really happen too often, Did Saka mean it or whatever? Sometimes it's just one of those days where everything that you try goes in, and that's what happened with Arsenal for once. But yeah, I would stay away from Smith-Rowe and try to go for Souček as your 5th midfielder, or Rafinha, or even Saka. I think those would be better options, more nailed. Smith Rowe, I would wait and see with him. And he's also injury prone. That's something that you have to take into account. Are you planning to get KDB for the double game week? If I could, it's something I would consider, I'll be honest. But I don't want to get rid of Salah. I don't want to get rid of Bruno. And yeah, I would probably have to get in like Martial for Kane and KDB for Son. Not too convinced about that. I don't really like Martial too much myself. I would rather have Vardy up front. And yeah, probably just get a second keeper and then I can bench boost, with some very good players on my bench. So I don't think I'm going to be looking for KDB at the moment, if I'm being honest. But he is still a great option for all of you and he could be that, difference maker. Bring in KDB for Salah because I am free hitting in game week 19. Yeah, you could do that, but just bear in mind that if you do free hit in game week 19, and obviously you bring in KDB now for game week 18, for going into game week 20, you're going to be stuck with your game week 18 team and you're only going to have one free transfer, no matter if you've saved up to 2. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, James, there's no need to spam the chat. I will get to your question, and yeah, there's no need to, to spam the chat. So yeah, let's go through these last questions. Can I make Kane captaincy? Not now. For game week 18, yes, when the game updates, and I think it should be updating soon. It tends to be half an hour after the deadline, but you can't change the captaincy now for game week 17. How long have you been playing FPL? Yeah, I've basically been playing since last year, and yeah, like I said, first half of the season I took a lot of hits. I was playing casually, but then I started getting my act together and made a turnaround to finish around 68k in the world. But yeah, pretty much since last year, to be honest. If I can have 8 starters for game week 18, should I save my free hit for later on? I'd probably say consider it, and it depends on who you have. So if you have some big hitters like Kane, KDB, Bruno, etc., then I would say, yeah, save your free hit for another double game week or a blank game week. So yeah, that's what I would do. Are we playing free hit in game week 18? I mean, are you playing it? Am I playing it? I mean, it depends. I mean, we have different teams. I'm probably going to be saving it, and don't just, do what I do or what other YouTubers do. I would just, look at your team. If you have 7 or more double, or should I say blank game week 18 players, then I would consider saving it. Otherwise, if you have fewer than that and you have some pretty poor picks, then yeah, then maybe consider free hitting. Did you qualify for the cup? No, I didn't even reach the average score last week. Oh my god, it was an awful week. Like I said, it's one of the worst weeks I've ever had in FPL. So I didn't qualify, but I never really care about the cup anyway. It's not like I was going to win it. Of course, if you're in it, you can win it. And then, of course, I'd go in with the mentality of, I can win it. But just not too bothered by it, to be honest. Also, thoughts on saying free hit, as I have 9 players with transfers for game week 18 now. Yeah, as long as you're not jeopardizing game week 19 by making those free transfers, then yeah, you could just save the free hit and make those free transfers and have 9 players for game week 18. Hope this new year brings you better Chilwell Diaz transfer luck. Yeah, thank you, Dylan Diaz. Thanks for reminding me for that. And thank you for your kind comment, and good luck to you as well. Is it ever worth to take a -8 for a double game week, or would you only maximum take a -4? Nah, so I've taken massive hits before, but if I'm being honest, I'm trying to limit myself to -8 hits, at the very most, if possible. So don't be too worried about that. If you're confident about these moves being good in the long term and you're going to outscore the players that you bring out for the players you bring in, then yeah, I would say a -8 can still be worth it. Otherwise, if it's just for a 1 week or 2 week punt, then I would say no, don't do a -8, just stick to a -4, or just maybe don't make any transfers at all. So yeah, there's no such thing as, obviously, you can take a -20 and still come off better, but it's just with every hit you take, it becomes increasingly more difficult for that to happen. And the lineups are available, by the way, for Everton, West Ham. So I'm going to take a look at that now. And actually, I might put it on screen for all of you lot. So yeah, I've got it on my phone here, but let's put it here so you lot can see it. So Everton versus West Ham. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we can look at this from the Twitter page. So this is the team. So Fabianski, Sufao is back in. Dawson and Ogbonna are playing. Wow. So no Balbuena. He's on the bench. Okay, that's interesting. Declan Rice, Souček are playing. Fornals, Bowen, Benrahma and Haller. Antonio's on the bench. Yarmolenko, Snodgrass, Lanzini, Noble, Balbuena, like I said, Diop, Johnson and Randolph. That's pretty interesting with the Dawson pick there. But yeah, apart from that, kind of what you would expect from West Ham. And then looking at Everton, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has that rest and he is starting. Pickford, Coleman is back, I think. Holgate, Mina, Godfrey, Doucouré, Davis, Bernard, Sigurdsson, Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. So yeah, Richarlison's back after that concussion he suffered in the cup game against Manchester United. And looking at the bench, Olsen and Lossell, both goalkeepers. Keane, Tosun, Nkunku. Rodriguez is back, but he is on the bench. Gomez, Gordon and Branthwaite. I nearly said Braithwaite, which is obviously the Barcelona man. But yeah, those are the teams. Pretty interesting. And yeah, I mean, both of my players are starting, so not too bothered about that. Hopefully, I mean, one of them is going to blank, but ideally, Soufal gets a goal and Calvert-Lewin does, and everything's hunky-dory. But those are the teams. And yeah, let's go back to your questions before wrapping up this video. Whenever you say like I said, I always think of Lacazette now after that comment. Yeah, I mean, that I've heard that thing before, but yeah, it is a pretty interesting and funny comment, yeah. Grealish will not do anything, but El Ghazi will score 2 goals. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I still think Grealish is a far better player than El Ghazi. I just think he's just taking more of a creative role at the moment, and he's not on the left-hand side. If Grealish is on the left, you know, compared to El Ghazi, I still think Grealish is the far better option. But of course, now with El Ghazi being the main threat from midfield or the wings, then yeah, of course, he's probably the better pick at the moment. But yeah, not for me anyway. Soufal starts, Balbuena not starting on the bench. Maybe Balbuena isn't that nailed. Yeah, he isn't, and he is a bit injury prone. That is something to consider with him. But yeah, that is pretty interesting anyway. And it kind of shows that if you do bring him in, he might not even play both games against West Brom and Burnley in Game Week 19. Double Game Week players: Martinez, Diaz, Cancelo, Soufal, Dallas, Fernandez, Salah, Souček, De Bruyne, Grealish, Bamford, Watkins. Yeah, I said Souček twice. And blank Game Week players: Diaz, Reguilon, Son, De Bruyne, Grealish, Fernandez, Calvert-Lewin, Watkins. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's fine. You got De Bruyne, Son, and Fernandez. That's pretty good cover for your captaincy. Bit of a headache there. I'd probably captain Bruno. Yeah, still looks pretty good, to be honest, across both weeks, and looks like you've planned pretty well for that. Yeah, like you said, Mantra, James Rodriguez is back in the squad on the bench. Where are you from? So I reside in the United Kingdom. My local team is Arsenal. That's why I support Arsenal. But my family are from Argentina, so that's why, as you can see here, I've obviously in the Argentina league. But yeah, that hopefully answers your question. I have gotten quite a few questions like that in the past, but not too many. Don't think it's really that important. Is it safe to play Calvert-Lewin instead of Vardy? I'm not sure if you mean, you know, for Game Week 17, so the deadline that's already passed, or for Game Week 18 or whatever. So I'm not too sure. Yeah, clarify that and then I can answer your question. You know, I don't want to, you know, just give you an answer, but it's not really well informed, if you know what I mean. What I did was Chilwell to Soufal, KDB to Sterling, and Zaha to Son. Yeah, fair enough. KDB to Sterling, maybe a bit of a sideways move, but maybe it gave you that money that you needed to do Zaha to Son. So fair enough. Good moves. Let's go all the way back down. Yeah. So let's see if I can actually refresh my team for Game Week 18. So I can show you initially my thoughts. Yeah, the game is still being updated, unfortunately. But in a few minutes, you should be able to make your teams for Game Week 18. What I always do, I look at Game Week 18, or the game week coming up, should I say. And as soon as it's, you know, available for you to change your team, I do it. And I set a captain. And after that, I'll revisit it and then maybe reconsider. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining in. We still have 77 people here. I really appreciate it. If you have any further comments, then like I said before, leave them down in the comment section below. I try to answer every single one of you as I've done in the live chat today. And yeah, subscribe if you're new. Smash the like button. We reached 2,000 subscribers, so I have to say thank you very much. I really appreciate all the support. And already another milestone ticked off for 2021. And yeah, we reached 1,000 subscribers, I think, back in October. So huge progress since then to reach 2,000 right now. And onwards and upwards, thank you to everyone who's tuned in. And I wish you all the very best of luck for Game Week 17. Hopefully, captaincy goes well for you. Hopefully, I finally nailed down the captaincy. That's 4 captaincy blanks in a row. Surely it can't be 5. And hopefully the defender transfer curse has been put to an end with the Dallas transfer. I did take a -4 this week, which is obviously not ideal. And more previews, chip strategy videos, and live streams coming up in the future. And if there's any other content that you want, then like I said, let me know down in the comment section. But thank you for joining in, and I'll see you next time.